Hello friends, myself Divyanshu Sharma and I am a second year student of MIT Law University, Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh. And in present I am working as a legal intern with Lexis and Company. And my today's topic is it's a very important topic for our young agers, the teenagers that right to internet. The right to internet exposes the two facets of the right to internet access and right to speak and express oneself over the internet. That now that I am also speaking on the internet. I have also right to speak and express oneself over the internet. So we will leave this topic. So we'll move forward in our topic, which are the positive, negative, and form respectively. There is a host of conceptual and theoretical issues that underpin the right to internet. The pertinent question that arises here is, what is the locus of the right to internet within our legal system? Whether it is a right held only by the citizen only or by people universally. Is that so? If it taken in the former sense, then it suggests the right is merely statutory and if understood in a letter, a kind of human right. There is a question as to nature the right, natural or unnatural. Right to internet under 19 section 19 subclause 1 subsection A and subclause 19(1) and subclause G also, the person right to freedom of speech and expression and the right to practice any profession or to carry on occupation, trade or business over the medium of internet under Article 19(1)(a) and 19(1)(g) has been held to be constitutionally protected by the Honorable Supreme Court. Anuradha Bhasin versus Union of India. Thus, a negative right to internet subject to the restriction under Article 90 to 19(6) has been recognized. Any restriction to the right to freedom of speech and expression and the right to practice any profession or to carry out any occupation, trade imposed by the state under the Article 19. Now, right to internet access. How we can access that? There are broadly two ideas that make a case for the recognition of the rights of the meaningful access, which was received much attention from the scholars. The first being that the right to meaningful internet access can be brought in place if the state chooses to frame regulation with regard to market condition and distribution of resources with a view to enable equitable access. This view has roots in Article 19(1)(a) and 21 of the Constitution. Now, now we move forward. Right to internet under Article 21. In the recent judgment Fahima Shirin versus State of Kerala, the High Court has recognized that mobile phones and internet access through it are looked at the resolution adopted and internet through the part and parcel of day to day life. The court you can say the court is huh, we can say the court this court looked at a resolution adopted by the United Nations Human Rights Council and the General Assembly, which unequally he pointed to the fact that how internet access plays a key role in accessing information and its close link to education and knowledge. The court took the view that the right to able to access the internet has been read into the fundamental right to liberty and life and liberty as well as privacy under Article 21. The court added its constituents as an essential part of the infrastructure of freedom of speech and expression. As opposed to this argument of one of the father of internet, Mr. Winton G. Cerf, has argued that while the internet is very important, however, it cannot be elevated to the status of the human right. Technology, according to him, is an enabler of our rights and not a right in and of itself. So here the topic ends. And friends, if I hope that you liked my video and enjoyed the topic and video, and if you have any issue related to the topic, please let me know in the comment section. And don't forget to press the bell icon and subscribe the channel. And thank you and have a nice day.